Hello, Laruga and David. So we're very happy to have you here in Paris. Thank you also for taking time to answer our questions. So first, we'd like to point out the fact that some teachers build their own schools single-handedly or within a multidisciplinary studio. Others travel and give workshops or run shared programs around the world. What's your view on that? And what would you recommend to a new, younger teacher?
Okay. Well, there's a lot in that question,
Yes.
but I think in the question it kind of offers a lot of diversity in how people choose or what their strength is in sharing the practice. And so obviously some people feel that they really resonate with establishing their own school or program in their city or town that they live in. And that can be a strong, or I guess I should say it could be someone's strength, where other people might choose to travel and give seminars or workshops in other established programs. And then for other people, they might have a little bit of both, which that's something that I do myself, is I travel, but I also have established a program. So I think too, I think a lot of times it has to kind of do with what people feel is the best way they can share the practice, or whatever their calling is in sharing the practice with others. I really don't see a problem with any of it, as long as it's something that rings true to the person that is offering these teachings.
I think it might be good in one way to have a little bit of a program on your own before you start traveling, though, whether that it's in your own studio or if it's in a multidisciplinary school. I think it gives you a foundation that is really needed. I mean, that's what you did.
Yeah.
That's what I've done. I've just started traveling a little bit, but for me, I would not. For me, it would not have been the correct choice to travel and teach.
Well,
earlier.
It's definitely a different teaching when you're following through with students through the long term.
Yeah.
So I've learned so much about seeing students over the years, about how the practice works through, working with people for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. And then, of course, when you travel and you meet people for the first time, it's a different thing that you're offering, right? It's kind of like you're giving people a booster shot or a vitamin B shot of yoga practice, which it's different, And so I find that, I think what you say is really true. Like, spending some time in one place as a foundation is really important too. And then, maybe people decide later to travel or just keep doing what they're doing. But I think she asked about a new teacher.
Well, it goes with the answer. Because that's questions a new teacher can ask himself, like, I'm going to settle in one place or start traveling directly. So no, it's really helpful. But still about travel, how do you combine the traveling and the teaching with your own practice?
How do I combine traveling and teaching? So I just think that, people ask me this all the time. How do I maintain my practice? How do I, again, I think it kind of goes back to the first question, is that it took me a long time before I started teaching. So I laid down a strong foundation of practice first, where it was really integrated in my life. And then when I did start teaching, I started very slow. I started teaching like one class a week. I was still doing my normal corporate job, and I was still maintaining my practice. Somebody had offered me, hey, would you be interested in teaching a class? I loved the practice so much that I was like, yeah, it would be, I'd be so happy to share the practice with a group of people. And then I started doing one a week, then 2 a week, and then, I was maintaining my practice, and then slowly I started to kind of think, okay, maybe I can teach for a living, but this all happened over a period of time. And so I feel like I have the practice instilled in my life in a way that even in times of change and adapting to different cultures, different time zones, different countries, I feel like I need the practice to ground me. So it's coming from that point of view. And of course, in Ashtanga yoga, you always need the foundation of your own practice in terms of sharing it with other people. So I find it when I'm in a new country or, in a new time zone, it helps to ground and solidify my purpose of being there. So I think that's kind of where it comes from for me.
We have similar journeys in that way too. I started practicing, I laid down the foundation, I got authorized, and when I got authorized, that's when people started asking me to teach. But that was also around the same time as Laruga started the Mysore program in Stockholm. So then it was natural for me to assist with her. So I was maybe doing a teaching in other places, and I was assisting Laruga, built it up, and when she started traveling more, I became more of the main teacher at our program in Stockholm. And now people are starting to invite me internationally. So it's been an organic growth, but it comes down to the practice, having established a practice that you can kind of stand upon. I think that's the most important thing. But also I've been lucky to go places with Laruga and assist in different workshops and retreats. So but we've always had a really good group also of people that we've been working with, that we get up in the morning, we do the practice together. So, it's a good thing when there's two people also helping on the road, or more people helping on the road, because it's really, really nice. When we're in Goa, for instance, and maybe a few other places, there's a lot of people, we might be 4 or 5 people that's doing it, right? So Laruga's the main teacher, and then she brings in assistants, which is super, super fun.
And also I think it's, when you're traveling to teach yoga, you're in an environment supporting your practice. So I feel like people who try to maintain a practice but they have a high pressure job, I think they have more challenge with maintaining a practice with their travel. And I know some people that do it and do it really well. So, but when you're going to a place to teach, it's like you're in a place that's nurturing your practice too. It can be difficult. Yeah, it can be difficult, but it's still, I find it to be a little bit easier than those that maybe have their own work that's totally outside of a yoga community, maintain their practice.
For me, when I had a regular job and I was working as a key account manager and Laruga opened, I started that career at the same time as Laruga started the Mysore program in Stockholm. And for me to actually survive that job was to get up in the morning and do the practice. It was thanks to that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now, regarding Mysore programs, what top 3 advices would you give to a Mysore program teacher in terms of how to care for their students?
Top 3. Gosh, it's like, just think about that on the top of my head.
Maybe the top advice.
I guess one thing that I really lead with is you have to be willing to earn the students' respect. You have to actually be humble enough to earn their respect. You don't just walk in and expect people just to respect where you're coming from. And that's something that I really led with, and I really find that to be so important. And you have to earn that respect, and you have to also understand that you're working with adults that are running their own lives on their own. You should never talk to them like children. You should always be very respectful and earn that respect over time. I think that's so important.
Yeah. I don't have much to add to that, except maybe you always have to keep a fresh eye. That's why I think it's so important that you might, do other things in your life, because you can get stuck in teaching as you can get stuck anywhere in life, and you do the same adjustments or you say the same things over and over again. And I think it's good that you come from different angles, even when it's new people or old students as well, where you kind of start working them a little bit differently, so it doesn't become stagnant, or that's kind of what I think when it comes to the teaching. You got to have some inspiration as well, Because otherwise, if you stay, I think, in a Mysore program year after year after year after year, and you don't bring in the nurture yourself, it can become a little bit stagnant. So,
actually, regarding that specific point, do you recommend any complementary practice in particular? Like, for example, work on specific areas or specific disciplines?
Are complementary to Ashtanga? Is that what
To your Ashtanga practice.
Well, I think the one thing that, especially with students who come from different type of physical disciplines, whether they're runners or they cycle or if they do it quite seriously, I mean, I always mention that yoga will always make you better at those activities. Those activities might make the yoga a little bit more challenging, but I feel like if people enjoy hiking mountains and if they want to run a marathon, I mean, I'm all for it. And I think that if they also want to pursue and dedicate to the practice, that there might be different ways they have to navigate the practice. But I find that people have to follow their passions, whatever that is, and I think there can be a compromise. And of course, there's going to be some people that are very deep in just dedicating to the practice, 100%. For myself, my main focus is my Ashtanga practice, but I love to hike. When I'm near water, I like to surf. I love to engage in other activities. I'm not super consistent, but I'll go into a gym and I'll lift weights at times. I have no shame in doing these types of things. If someone is taking a spinning class and a friend says, you want to go, I'll try it. I'm not opposed to trying other things. It's just my main focus over the years has really been that Ashtanga, practice. But I think, I have friends that delve into other things, and I think I don't find anything wrong with it.
No, neither do I.
As long as they're authentic in their own, pursuit, it's yeah.
For me, I'm an athlete from the start, so I kind of need that explosiveness a little bit. I love biking, and also last year I fell off my bike, injured myself, and I've had to kind of go back. I was in a lot of pain for 8 months. And if I had not done some kind of going to the gym, biking, walking, doing other things, I would not be back to doing what I'm doing, and also getting good treatments, different kinds of treatments, and just listening to my body. I scaled my practice way, way back. Some days standing was just enough, and then I could go maybe to the gym and do a little bit of weights. It was the way 8 months of therapy to getting myself back. I could not have done that without something else than Ashtanga. I'm like Laruga. Ashtanga is my first love. It's my first practice. But I'm not scared of swimming, surfing, climbing. But and anything else that gets you inspired. I'm still gonna do my practice.
Now, so do you recommend that teachers use social media? And do you believe that a yoga practice, a yoga school, a yoga teacher can thrive today without social media, realistically?
Yeah,
Definitely.
I think a teacher or a school can thrive without it, and I think people can thrive with it. I think if you want to engage in this, it's just a tool.
Yeah.
To me, social media is only a tool. It's how you use the tool. And some people want to criticize the tool, and some people maybe engage in the tool too much and are obsessed with it. But I think if you're comfortable with it, and if it rings, I guess I should say, if it resonates with you, use it. If it doesn't, and it's not your thing, don't. And I just think sometimes our judgment around it is where we get lost. When we start to judge others who use it, or maybe some people think that you're a waste of time because you don't use it. I don't know, I just find that, again, I think the yoga practice teaches us to look within ourselves and to see what's true for us, and to follow our hearts, and to really understand what our true intention is at the end of the day. And if we use these tools authentically, I don't think we can go wrong. And if people don't find that it's useful, then don't use it.
For me, I think it's one simple thing, and it's about content. If you produce good content, which I think Laruga does, she's one of the people that are doing true, good, authentic content in regards to her Ashtanga practice, then I see no problems. When people are doing other things, when it comes from a sense of only getting attention, yeah, maybe there's something going on. But that's with everything in life. My guess is then they're doing that in other arenas, not only on social media. So for me, if we're just talking about yoga, I think it's about the content. If you produce good content, it's not a problem. But if you're not comfortable with it, then don't use it. I have my stuff that I do is not only focused on yoga, it's all over the place. And people are still finding out about me now. So I don't think it has to be do or die when it comes to social media either. So either you want to do it, well, if you do it, do good content. That's my only recommendation.
Coming back to the traveling aspect, based on your experience traveling a lot, do you see cultural, geographical differences in the practice?
I think the most difference I see is maybe the time people want to practice. So, like, I think in Northern Europe, it's like people aren't so opposed to coming at 6 a.m., maybe even earlier. Even I was really surprised when I was in South Africa, they were starting at 5:30. So, but then in other countries, they're like 8, 9, you know. And
come down to France and even more south.
Yeah, Spain. But I think, yeah, there's those slight differences, but also what really gives me hope is, like, through all my travels, I really see a commonality to everyone, and how no matter what country you walk into, there's people that are pursuing this journey to be more conscious, and I just see a lot of unity within that, like, and no matter where I go, and it's just really promising because I actually start to see that people are much more alike than different, and especially in the yoga community, there's something really beautiful happening there.
And where do you see our Ashtanga tradition in 5 or 10 years?
Our
totally different question.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I can have a hope.
Then we can look back at that 10 years later.
I don't know. My hope is that people continue to be more open-minded and accepting and supportive of each other and supportive of different voices being engaged in the community and different viewpoints, and not being afraid of these different viewpoints being shared. That would just be my hope. It's quite simple.
What I feel sometimes is when people get too dogmatic. That's the stuff where I kind of go. I question Ashtanga and Ashtangis a little bit, but I think people can become more open. It hasn't, I don't think it's only one answer all the time. And I think people come from different places. That doesn't mean necessarily that it's a bad thing if somebody has a different opinion in regards to a certain issue or
Yeah, I think we need to continue to lead with respect.
Yeah.
And what I really appreciate even now in the Ashtanga community is, like, there's a spectrum.
Yeah.
Like, I like that there's a spectrum, and I like that there's different voices. I like that some people do tend to be a little bit more strict. And there's some people that tend to be a little bit on this side, a little bit more free in their approach, and I think we need to allow that spectrum to take place in the community and to be open to hearing them. I mean, to hearing different voices and perspectives. So.
And people are going to gravitate to whoever they're going to gravitate towards, who they want to study with. I think that happens naturally. That doesn't mean that the other people, whoever the other people are, that there's something wrong with them. It's just they do what they do, but if it's not your cup of tea, then you go to somebody else. It doesn't have to be harder than that, I think.
Still talking about the future. How do you see you practicing and teach at 70, 80?
70.
Wow.
I mean, I just really don't know if I look that far ahead. I really can't say that I will be teaching at 70, but I hope that, I don't know, I hope by that point I've evolved, you know, that I continue to grow as a person, as a practitioner, and as a teacher. I just hope, I can't really see what that is exactly, but I'm open to, and I desire this sense to want to grow. To grow and evolve, So, yeah, that's where I hope to see myself.
Teaching, I don't know, who knows, but at least I hope I'm practicing. I hope I have a good, solid practice. I hope that in my 80s, 90s, that's what I hope. But teaching, I don't know, I can't answer that.
And lastly, do you have any word of advice or message for the French Ashtanga yoga community, or is the Paris one, maybe?
Well, we both love Paris, so we love being here.
We come more than once a year if you want us.
But yeah, we love it. So I just think that it goes back to even the other question is to support each other, to come together. I've just been in so many different cities where there seems to be a fragmentation, like a separation, and I just find that it's so important to support each other, to root each other on. There's enough for everybody.
Yeah.
I think we have to remember that. There's enough for everybody. And to again, because also for me too, is to really respect this practice, I really respect the Ashtanga Yoga practice, and I really like to keep it intact. But at the same time, we need to be very supportive of each other, and I hope that in Paris that will take place and continue to take place.
Yeah, I mean, I just think sticking together that's a good thing, more so than we have more things in common, both as Ashtangis and human beings. So I think we should try to look on that and not the other stuff. That's just my opinion.
Well, thank you very much for all these answers, and we're really looking forward to have you come back soon then.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.